Hey, Team Faith and Soul. I hope you're having an incredible week so far, and I hope you had a happy 4th of July as well. I'm not really quite sure what you guys did, if you stayed in or if you went out, but the hubby and I kept it low key. We did the same thing last year. We live. In a small town. Most of y'all know where I live, but we have local fireworks, as a lot of other people do. And what was awesome is since last year, we were able to find a very specific spot at a local school that's closer to the water, which is where the main fireworks show is, I should say. And we were able to find the best spot, y'all. We did this last year. We accidentally kind of stumbled upon it, and it was so awesome because we ate early dinner, or actually, no, that's a lie, just kidding. We actually had dinner afterwards, but we snacked before, and that was so nice to be able to just get in the car, get the fold out chairs, didn't have to fight traffic, found our spot. And one really cool little fun fact was that our city, actually, somebody created a code and a link later on that had like the timed music. So there was themed music to tie in with the fireworks show, which I thought was really cool. So that actually added a little extra pizzazz. And to be honest, a couple laughs for me here and there because I am a sucker for themed music. And some of the songs that whoever it was that put it together made me giggle a little bit because it was some of it was fun, but some of it was pretty silly. And yeah, just cliche, but it was all in good fun. Just want to not shout out, but pin and bring to attention my earrings, because it officially has already passed. July 4th has already passed, so if you know me, I am gunning for Halloween, y'all. I'm so excited, and I am counting down the days. And don't even judge me because more likely my Halloween will be coming up this year, like last year, a lot sooner than October. So I'm very excited about that. But, anyways, let's go ahead and get started, y'all. It is July, and I don't even know about y'all, but it seemed like the first little bit of the year kind of crept really slow, kind of took its time, which I definitely needed. If you guys have been hanging with me for a while in our trainings, y'all know that my official year for 2023 really didn't actually kick off for me personally, mentally, until I would say closer to March, February, March ish, not January, closer to March, and I was a okay with that. But since March, it has went just flew out right out the window, and it is just mind blowing to me that we are gearing up, y'all. August, if you didn't already know this, August will be the last month for spring summer catalog. What? What does that also mean? That means that those of y'all, I know Barbara, you're coming with me to SFR. Y'all, I am so excited because what does that mean when we go to Cincy Family Reunion? That means that whoever is either in attendance or if you are watching the training virtually, that you were able to sign up for as well. We get access, y'all, to the products that are coming out for uh, fall, Halloween, and freaking Christmas. Oh, I'm so excited, y'all. It's gonna be so exciting. And we get access to seeing all of the new products as well that are going to be launching in the 2023 fall winter catalog. So there is that. I cannot wait to share all the things with you guys. But very, very, very ready for that. So, with that being said, a couple of things that you definitely want to start, not necessarily focusing on per se, but in July, you definitely want to start front loading your calendar for August, thinking about the potential behind the things that I'm about to mention. So, if you're new to the game for August, what does this mean? This year, August means for us that there will be that 10% off that anyone that shops on our website can get off of products. That does not include licensed products and clearance. Okay. So I just want to make sure and reiterate that. So not licensed, not clearance. Okay. but 10% off of pretty much everything else on the entire website. That means that we are getting ready to enter what? You got it. Transition month. Transition month is going to be August for us this year. Typically, if you've been around for the last couple of years with me, you would know that in the past couple of years, we have actually had transition month in July. In August, if you're on my team, August was when we used to kick off the new catalog. But to be very honest with y'all, I'm very excited for the fact that we went back to the old ways, which is August is transition, and then September 1st. You also know, if you know me very well, that that's my birthday month. But September is going to launch our freaking fall winter catalog, and I'm so ready for it, y'all. So freaking ready for it. Can you tell? So definitely make a note of that. What does that mean? That means that if you, and we'll definitely cover this closer to the end of the month, but I love doing, it's called a last chance first glance party. What does that mean? You can do it through Facebook Messenger, you can do it through Facebook private groups as well. Like I said, we don't even really need to touch a base on that until later on in this month, but I just want to let y'all be aware of what August 1st is going to bring. Okay, so as I'm looking at my, and also just note that this is too on your news tab on your dashboard. So that's the first thing. The second thing is for those of y'all that are interested, and we will probably cover this next week on our training for next week, so y'all can actually see what these kits look like. But the new season sales kit content and pricing is the details are available. So let's see. I want to make sure and let y'all know when they will be available. Yeah, so come August 1st through August 31st. Consultants will have firsthand access to getting what is called a sales kit. What that basically means is that is a set price per what do I want to say, per category in our catalog. So for example, there's a kit for the warmers. So that will come with, just as an example, 5 full-size warmers. There's a set price for that. You do get PRV off of it as well. Typically for me personally in the past, I will say, I mean, if you get the warmers, then to each their own. But to be honest, two things. You can either use your host credit to party rewards, host credit towards that in September, right? Because the only way that we as consultants can actually get anything to do with the fall winter catalog in August is through these sales kits. Now, the one that I personally have considered getting, I don't, full transparency, I don't normally do these. When I first joined Scentsy, I did, but over the last 2 years, I have not. But I am actually considering, because it's been a hot minute since I have, I am actually considering either doing the one that comes with the wax bars. And it's, by the way, it's going to be like all the new fragrances that are going to be, they introduced like the top, what is it, like 10, I think, 1, 2, something like that. So like the new 10 fragrances that they're going to introduce. But I don't know, like I'm kind of playing around with it. I've even thought about, instead of doing like the wax, because everyone knows wax, I have actually considered doing either like the clean kit that they have for $38, or even like the laundry. Those would be really great for samples. And I am also, just on a side note, considering if I do purchase one of those, more likely, like I said, it's not going to be the wax. I usually do the scratch and sniff stickers for that. But if I do the laundry or the clean sales kit, for those of y'all that are local to me, I am considering having y'all over, just like what we did for before, and then creating samples from those products. So definitely take a look at that. Make sure instead some of your Scentsy pay that's coming up if you do want to invest in that. Otherwise, if you don't feel like what you can do as an alternative is you can let your host rewards roll up or continue rolling over. So personal shopping link setup, earn your host, let your host actually stay there. Trust me on this. When they're sitting there September 1st, you're letting it roll through July, letting it collect through August. Use your host rewards to getting the new products that you can create samples from. Hopefully that made sense. Let's see what else we got. Product updates in the fall winter catalog. So we've covered this before, but don't forget there's new packaging with fragrance flowers. Let's see what else. Looks like another change is that light bulbs will only be offered in a 3-pack except for the 40-watt Edison bulb. So that's interesting. So that's definitely important for you to make note of, and for obviously me to make note of, is that light bulbs, it looks like, will no longer be offered by itself. So perhaps it looks like that the $2, yeah, so it looks like that the $2 bulbs are not going to exist anymore. I kind of get that to where they're promoting the bundle. So it looks like that the 3 for $5 will be it, other than the Edison bulb. Let's see. It looks like there's also a price increase for the Scentsy Go. And like I said, if you need more info on this, it is definitely under your news tab on your dashboard. But I'm just reading through it just like you could do as well. Let's see. It looks like that the Scentsy Go is going up in price due to, and this makes sense, due to inflation coupled with increased manufacturing, shipping, labor cost. That's normal. Let's see. But more than likely, I bet, let's see, let me go back. Yeah, so, okay, so that makes sense. So these are changes that are going to take place. Everyone take a deep breath. These are changes that are actually going to take place, and this makes sense for the fall winter 2023 catalog. There's always adjustments. If you didn't already know this, there's adjustments that take place on different things in our catalog every season, it seems like. So that's perfectly normal. So again, these are things that you can start prepare. Well, one or two. You have one or two choices. You can either let your customers know. Honestly, I don't think that this is going to impact my customers in any way. Full transparency, again, anytime that we've had price adjustments, price changes, things like that, even when our shipping costs changed, I don't let my customers know that. It's a personal decision that you have to make as an independent consultant, but I typically don't bring awareness to those things because it's not a big deal until you make it one. I'll just leave it at that. Let's see. The only last thing that I do want to talk about, let's see, is don't forget that the 99 starter kit, join kit, does include the extra supplies. So there's extra supplies. It looks like it comes with a coffee mug, which I absolutely love that. I have that myself. It looks like it comes with these cute little keychain flashlights that'll probably more likely have, like, I know for sure it has at least a Scentsy logo on them. Pins. It'll come with what else? Oh, like little scratch pads, various colors, and then one of the Scentsy blankets as well, Scentsy Buddy blankets. So super cool. So all that plus everything that comes in the 99 kit as well. Let's see, the last thing. Oh, don't forget that if you do by chance watch this training and it has not already been July 7th, you could still go to your PWS and vote for which Bring Back the bars you want to come back come January. So that's that as well. Let's see what else says. Transition starter kit update for the new season. Also include August. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think this is just the usual for transition. Yeah, okay. So this is usual. This is nothing new. Also, it's just something to be aware of. So if you have anybody that joins and you sponsor somebody new in the month of August, Super cool, you guys. And that actually is pretty awesome that I ended the news tab there as far as news announcements, because it's a great segue for what we're going to talk about today, which is sponsoring. So if you have anybody that you personally sponsor that joins your team or joins under you in the month of August, it is so cool, y'all, because not only will they have access to getting the join kit and marketing supplies and such for spring, summer, but also fall, winter as well, while supplies last. It's like the coolest thing ever. It's one of the biggest reasons why I love Transition Month. All right, so that's it as far as news is concerned. All right, so I don't need to be on my phone anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and silence that. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and dive right into sponsoring. I don't really want to take too much of y'all's time tonight. Let me go ahead and get a sip of my water. I don't know. I've been on this huge sparkling water thing recently. Okay, so we got that going on. All right, so we got my notes in case y'all see me looking over. So let's go ahead and dive into sponsoring. So I know we dabbled a little bit the last time we did our last training about 2 weeks ago or so. I know that we did a little bit of dabbling into not only the various types of parties that you can do, but also I showed you guys exclusively how to close a party out and what that looks like. Now, if you personally want to do more one-on-one, if you want to do a one-on-one chat with me as far as diving further into like party styles, how to go about getting host, totally. I'm more than fine with that. Reach out to me or reach out to your sponsor. But I'm comfortable with that as well if you want to talk further into that. But just so you know, when it comes to sponsoring, keep in mind that you are offering something that is, one, life-changing. Life-changing meaning it could be that your person loves to travel, that they're looking for travel opportunities, that they're already traveling themselves. But what greater of an opportunity for them to possibly earn the chance to go somewhere and travel somewhere new and not have to pay that much out of pocket for it. Yeah. It could be that somebody is wanting to earn a little bit of extra money. That's not always the case. That is something that has been a huge eye opener for me. And if y'all know me and why I joined, it had nothing to do with the money. It was just, I was looking for just an escape for me, a creative escape for me to be able to creatively express myself, for me to not have any anyone above me, anyone over my shoulder telling me what to do, basically. And that has been a growing experience in itself for me. So it's not always about making extra income. And one thing to keep in mind too is that even though it is definitely important for us to consider those that do need the extra income, because they are out there, there are other people in your community, there are other individuals that are your neighbors, your friends, your family members, acquaintances that don't necessarily need the extra money, but they have another reason for it, and that's something that I feel like that I have to keep in mind all the time, is that it's not always somebody that needs the extra income. It could possibly be someone who wants to join Scentsy and they already have a full-time job. And they don't want Scentsy as a full-time job. They're just like how it was for me in the beginning, because I too had a full-time job aside from Scentsy in the beginning, that they're just looking for something just for fun. Just for them to have either like maybe a little bit of pocket money. That could possibly be it. Or it could be that they're looking for community. That was the other thing that I was looking for, was how can I connect with other adults, for other individuals that are like-minded, that I have maybe perhaps something in common with. I was just looking for, somewhere where I can maybe possibly make some friends. And it's incredible, you guys, incredible. If y'all follow my personal page, I have a couple of very close friends of mine that I have met through Scentsy. And I firmly believe, had it not been for Scentsy, I would have never actually crossed paths with these people, nor given them the opportunity to be friends. Like, I never would have given them. Yeah. Anyways, they know. we've talked about it. The last thing to consider is personal growth. Again, I just said that about myself. It could be that there's something about this business, something about the Scentsy way, right? Scentsy spirit that someone is lacking thereof in their life. Whether it be maybe that they're not, that they're down on themselves. It could be that there are some insecurities that they are struggling with. It could be even like myself too, struggling with depression. It could be that they just are looking for a little slice of happiness in their life, that they're feeling lost, that they're not sure of, who they are, or they're looking for a hobby, or they're looking for, an outlet of some sort. You just never know. But you are offering, at the end of the day, you're offering something that is life changing. And for us, that's going to be different for you, and it's going to be different for me. We want to work smarter, not harder, when it comes to offering the business opportunity to somebody, right? And we can call it whatever you want. It's all the same, whether it's recruiting, sponsoring, giving them the best business opportunity, blessing them with an opportunity. Consider your Scentsy business as your storefront, right? So when you have your storefront, yes, you are bringing in individual income with your storefront. But if you take into consideration possibly having one to a couple more people that are your people, that you have said either, oh, I would love for you to join and do this thing with me, and or they've come to you and they've said, you know what, I'm thinking about joining and I'd love for you to be my sponsor. Either way that happens, the incredible part of that is that not only do you have your storefront that's bringing in personal income for yourself, but then you also are duplicating that, whether it's one time, two times, three times more, and adding in to that income that you're already bringing in. Okay. So to me, it's a double win, because not only are you benefiting and you're blessing yourself, right? So you're blessing yourself, but even more so, the bigger picture is that you have this incredible opportunity in your hands, y'all, to be able to be a blessing to somebody else. And you never know. Y'all have heard me say this before. You never know what somebody's going through. You never know what that, just simply asking, hey, have you thought about doing what I do? Or hey, what do you think about joining Scentsy? No matter how your the wording is, no matter how what the verbiage is like, you can't assume what somebody's going to say until you actually put yourself out there and ask. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Earn a Kit. I want to dive into that. So the Earn a Kit, because we briefly talked about earlier on our news tab how Scentsy is offering the additional marketing materials with the 99 join kit. But if you didn't already know this, there is a Earn a Kit option. We briefly also spoke about this in the last training that we did, where I did talk about how you, at the end of a party, can do what they refer to as unlocking. You're unlocking that host kit. Okay. The host kit, or the Earn a Kit, because it's what it is it's already in the name. So you have a host that is earning their kit. So it's a $59 kit. It's the Earn a Kit program. And the opportunity to be able to unlock that is when your host works towards either earning it for free or getting it at a discount. What does that mean? So that means that if your host has a party of 600 or more, they will then have enough host credit to unlock that 59 Earn a Kit and use their host credit towards getting that for free. Now, however, they do have the option of either, for one, not spending all their host credit on the kit, and then they basically invest in that kit. There's a dollar amount that they vest in. So in other words, let's just say hypothetically, your host has 70-ish dollars in host credit. Okay. So that means that they are able to, let's just say that they want to get, I don't know, like a 30, they want to get 6 bars for $30. Okay. So they're going to use $30 of that amount that they've earned to get their wax bars, and the remainder will be applied towards the host kit. Now, that's if they want to get it at a discount. Okay. So there are many, many ways of approaching that, but I just don't want to do a deep dive into that. So that's kind of just the overall concept of it. The other option that is a big time bonus. And I know this is going to be hard for some y'all to hear because I know that PRV is precious to a lot of us. I of all people can understand that because this is my full-time business. So I will admit that there are moments when I do have hosts that have great parties, whether it's 200 PRV or more. And I had that opportunity as the consultant, right, to be able to do what's called flipping the party over. Now, what that means is that you are then taking the sales, the PRV that host has earned, and flipping it over to them. So that means that you are handing over those sales, that commission, and handing it over to them. Now, I'll say this first and foremost. The only time I ever will give the opportunity to my party host to flip it over to them will be if they rightfully have friends, family members who ordered from their party link. If it was orders that I personally placed from my customers and I just so happened to put it under them, or let's just say that, you're doing some kind of other party, whether it's, battle of the host, or you're doing a mystery party, or whatever the concept may be, or a lot of times I put in group orders, I put in local group orders, and let's just say that those orders happen to be 200 or more, I'm more than likely not going to flip those sales over to the host, over to the new team member that's joining, because more than likely those are my customers, those are my sales. But if I have a host and they have invited their guests and they have friends and family members, coworkers, neighbors, etc., you get it, that have ordered from their party link, I feel personally that those are not my customers. That is my new team members' customers. And so therefore I can flip those sales over to them along with their kit, along with their party rewards, and they get it all. They get it all. Like I said, that's a personal decision. If you choose to do that, just know you absolutely have to close out that party and flip it over before the end of the month. You can't have a party that flows into the next week of the new month and be like, oh, I'm still going to flip this over to them. It does not work like that. Unfortunately, it does not work like that. The reason why is because we have payday the ninth slash really 10th of every month, and that's when payroll takes place. So if you figure, if you have a party that you're deciding for it to roll over into the new week of the next month, any sales that came from that previous month is going to you as the consultant, but it's not going to be able to roll over to anybody else because you pretty much have those sales from the previous month locked in under your name for payroll. Hopefully that makes sense. And I know, like I said, the idea of letting go of sales is really hard to come by. However, think about it. Think about it when you first joined. Think about how it felt whenever you looked at your dashboard and you saw that zero PRV. It's very disheartening, right? It's very discouraging. It feels hard, especially if you're trying to reach your first 200, your first 500 PRV, your first 1,000 to get certified. That it can be freaking frustrating, right? And it's hard. It's hard because you see that number and then you're like, man, I have so much further to go. And it feels like a lifetime. And for some of y'all, you have 2 more months, right? Because you have that 90-day period to get certified. However, it just feels like time is running out quickly, right? It feels like quicksand. But think about it. What if, and for some of y'all, if I personally sponsored you, you know how this is because I flipped your party. But if you didn't have a party flipped, like for example, when I first hosted my first party, it was before I joined. It was like, I think maybe a couple weeks to a month before I joined. I hosted a party for my good friend who is a consultant. And I'll never forget that I realized after a while, after joining, holy crap, she could have flipped my party over to me. That would have been awesome. But I didn't know that. Or I could say she possibly didn't even know it at the time because she was just as new as I was. But I tell y'all what, there's something about flipping that 200 or that 500, whatever the case may be, sales over to that new consultant and for them to start fresh that next month with that amount of PRV under their belt, it is so encouraging. It is so encouraging and it's so uplifting. No one wants, think about, for example, all of us as consultants on July 1st started at 0 PRV, right? We all started at 0. I started 0. You started at 0. But if you have somebody that you're flipping that party over to and they're getting that cushion of whether, like I said, 200 PRV or more, my God, y'all, that is something to like kickstart, and it's a little fuel under them. It's a little fire to them to get them going. And it is so motivating. Plus, let's be honest, everyone could use a little extra 30 bucks to 40 bucks plus, commission, a little paycheck, a little cheddar, mind you, for the next month. So yeah, let's see. So now, like I said, we're going to focus and dive into a little bit more with sponsoring. And again, if you guys want to do a little bit more one-on-one with this, definitely let me know. Let's see. I'm going to open up my notebook a little bit more so I can see it better. Okay. So when it comes to narrowing down those individuals that before we even talk about sponsoring, if we want to talk about hosting, so who would make a great host? There are 3 categories that you really want to focus on and narrow it down on. That's going to make it possibly a little bit easier to figure out who could possibly be a great party host with you and or potential team member. So that would be, you have 3 categories. It's opportunity, social butterfly, and product lover. So what I want you to do, and the great thing about this is that it's recorded, so you can hit pause, grab that pen and paper, and mark this down. I want you to get a piece of paper, okay, y'all? And I want you to turn it to the side, and I want you to write 3 categories. Your categories are, first one is going to say opportunity, okay? Then I want you to space it out, and I want you to write down social butterfly. And then the third one's going to say product lover. What you're going to do with all 3 of these categories is then I want you to take not a lot of time, but just maybe a little bit, and go through each category. And off the top of your head, I want you to write down 1 to 2 individual people that come to mind with all 3 of these categories. Now, if you're like me, I squirrel and I have major blanks sometimes, like nothing comes to my mind, especially if I'm put on the spot like this. So a lot of times what I like to do is I will go to social media and I'll go to like my Facebook friends and see who I'm following, and I'll go through, or you can go through your contact list on your phone as well, scroll through, and then just pick some names. Don't overthink it, but write down who you feel like, for one, under opportunity. And while you're coming up with these names and putting them in your list, continue listening to this part, and hopefully it will help you, inspire you a little bit more to, perhaps who you could write down. So first off, opportunity. Who comes to mind that is driven and who dreams big? Who is somebody that you see post on their personal social media accounts, on Facebook, on Instagram, taking quizzes of like dream homes or dream vacations? Who is that person that you know who has a dream board perhaps on their phone or in their office? And under social butterfly, consider who loves meeting new people, who you know in your life that likes to network, that is constantly socially doing things on a week-to-week basis, going to lunch with friends, going to concerts, traveling, maybe perhaps are in like Bible study groups, or somebody that is in a like crafting circle, or perhaps is involved with even groups online, like, so, interactive groups online, things of that nature. And last but not least, your product lover. So that is somebody who is constantly ahead of the game. They love trying new things. They're always decked out, fashionably looking cute, put together, loves trying new products, maybe perhaps enjoys doing product reviews, even somebody who is loving, like, new products, whether it's from Amazon or Temu, or if they're influenced from TikTok, things of that nature. Someone that is not really, necessarily stuck in like, getting the same all the time. That they're always, they just look cutting edge, if that makes sense. Um, that they're always up for trying something. They're always up for going out and doing something new or different. Those all three of those categories, y'all, are great potential not only hosts but team members. Okay, so once you have that list, I then want you to take the time and look at each individual person that you've put underneath those three categories. Okay, and then I want you to come up with maybe 2 to 3 things per person that describes them. So, for example, if you have somebody underneath the category for product lover, um, and this is just an example of somebody that you would describe them as they are a savvy shopper, they're a working mom, they love the outdoors, things like that. If you, again, if you're stumped and you're like, I don't really know how to describe this person, social media, y'all, go to that person's personal profile. Okay, go to their personal profile and look at their photos, look at what they're posting, look at what they're sharing. That can say a lot about a person. Those are things too, on a side note, that is important to keep in mind if these people are your customers, because these things will help you tie in the future, like what new products to share with them, what new fragrant categories to share with them as far as samples are concerned. But definitely keep that list handy, because those individual people, like I said earlier, are going to make phenomenal party hosts. Okay, because those three things are the three categories that are going to help somebody be successful, not only as a host but then for sure as a potential team member. When it comes to when you start thinking of these individual people and then you're writing down to 2 to 3 things that describe who they are, what they love, what they like to go do, then that's when you can actually take the time to tie in what you would want to share with them, or what would benefit them, what would be their why into joining Zensi, being a consultant, or even being a host. So it could be perhaps that there's a flexible income. They're wanting a flexible income because they're a product lover, not just Scentsy products. But remember, like what I said earlier, they love trying new things. They're constantly like looking for the next new thing, or they love dabbling in different areas, whether it's makeup, clothing, technology, items in the kitchen, gadgets, stuff like that. But they love trendy products. So that would mean that whenever, for example, in Sensiland, when we come out with something that's cutting edge, that's a little bit newer and it's different, like for example, the travel twist, or our new travel pillow, or the mini fan, things like that. Those are the gadgets that you want to share with these people, because it's different and it's unique and it's perhaps something they haven't seen before, and that's going to excite them. Those are also the products that you want to consider sharing when it comes to helping them co-host their parties. On the go products are going to be big for that type of person, by the way, especially for somebody who is constantly traveling, or if you, when you think of them, you're thinking, oh man, they love camping or they love the outdoors. The on the go products is ideal for that type of person. But again, narrowing down who these people are and getting a little bit of bio feed from them. And it's not only going to help you narrow down, again, what to post throughout their party time, but also why they should join, right? If you can tie that back into the why to let them know that this is about you, this is for you, it's not for me, then that's going to help you come a long way when it comes to finding those that you can sponsor. Let's see. We talked about that. So one thing that I definitely, another thing that I want to encourage you to work on is, I know first and foremost, take it from somebody who is or used to be the word vomit queen. Y'all have I have had so many different types of conversation and verbiage when it comes to not only hosting parties, but joining as well. I've had text conversations that have been super short with not enough information, or so much information that it's confusing and overloaded, and more than likely they probably didn't even read it. To be honest, I've been on both sides of that. One thing that I really liked that I got from a training that we had on Tuesday with Cincy this last month is I really loved having this specific template, and all you have to do is just fill in the blank depending upon what you want to say or the circumstances. So what you want to do is, this is the example, the outline that you can use, and it's going to keep it super simple for you to where you don't have to be afraid of not saying too much or not saying enough. So this is the sentence, and I want you to write this down, and then we're going to go back and talk about some samples or examples of what you can say instead. So what you want to write down is this right here. If I blank, would you blank? So here are a couple examples as far as hosting and joining is concerned. So if you were perhaps wanting to message somebody one-on-one and talk to them about the join opportunity, one example would be, if I take you to coffee, would you mind hearing more about the opportunity to join? Super simple, right to the point. Not a lot of fluff, right? Another example would be, if I sent you starter kit options, right? That's filling in that blank. Would you be interested in our starter kit? So that's example number 2. Example number 3 would be for finding someone to host. If I bring my testers to smell, would you consider being my party host? Right? Not overcomplicated. Don't overthink it. Those are just a couple examples. And the last one would be, again, for a potential host. If I can get you free products, would you be my host? I love the simplicity in that, y'all. I love that it cut the fluff out. I love that there's not a lot of details. It's right to the point. I love that. It's very refreshing. One thing to keep in mind too, when it comes to looking for potential people to join and give them the join opportunity, and for you to sponsor them, not just your party host, but believe it or not, your party guest. And not even necessarily those party guests that are actually participating and interacting. Obviously, that is a bonus, and it is a big time green flag. It's a good sign when you have a party guest that is interacting and having fun and all the things, because that's going to be a big aha moment, right? For them to be a possibly a great host and or fantastic person, potential team member. However, don't knock all those that are your party guests that may not necessarily have either ordered and or participated in the party. For example, I have had 2 people that have joined me in the last couple years that I've been with Cincy, and neither of these 2 people, y'all, ordered or participated for the most part in the party, right? You just never know. One of them had actually mentioned it to me, so I was very fortunate, because they had said they actually saw, because back then I would actually add my party guest as a friend on my personal page and then invite them to the party. So that's the way I used to do it. So that particular person happened to see me post about the join opportunity on my personal page, and they said, "Hey, what's this about joining Cincy?" So that's how the one out of the 2 people that I'm talking about join the team. The other one just flat out saw me talk about it in the party, and I said, hey, my party host has passed on her Earn Kit. It's, anyone who's in this, party, she has decided to bless them with it. It's available for $59. Claim it basically before the party closes. So that's how we ended up getting the second person on my front line, was that reason. So don't necessarily, like I said, cut everyone out, because you just don't know, once again, somebody's circumstances or what they're wanting, if they're interested. One personal thing that I actually plan on doing, I have a party coming up in the next week, and I'm very excited about it because I haven't done, to be honest, I haven't done a Facebook party in quite a while. But this I'm very excited about because I do want to approach it in a very different way. So typically in the past, when I've had online parties, I normally would start with the usual, like, introducing the catalog and walking them through all the products of the catalog. And then towards the end, I typically would be, hey, this is what Cincy Club is. This is how you can join. Hey, if you want to join, here's the opportunity, get paid off of what you love, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like personally, if you think about somebody's conversation that you have with them, and if they're not present and they're not actually purposely listening to you from start to end, more than likely when it comes to posting a party, they're going to pick up on what they're hearing or what they see in the beginning, right? So for most of us, our parties are usually wax and warmers. And at the end, whatever you talk about at the end, they're going to remember, right? But for me personally, I find that when I have my party's guest attention is in the very beginning. And then if my party typically in the past has gone on for a week, usually kind of dwindles down like midweek. And then I'm very lucky if I have anybody hanging out towards the end, right? But in the beginning, everybody's excited. They're there, they want to see what's happening. So I am actually going to reverse how I typically would introduce posts in my parties this summer. So what do I mean by that? That means that right out the gate, y'all, the first post that I will be doing, aside from welcoming them to the party itself, is talking about the join opportunity. I am going to do the complete opposite. I'm flip-flopping it. I'm basically going to share first and foremost the join opportunity. Then after that, the next day, I will be posting and discussing how they can host and what does that mean for them. So one thing that I really liked in the training that I listened to this last month that they shared was the concept of sharing this. If your wish list has 5 or more items, consider hosting a party. So what does that mean? That means that I will be drumming up a post that is talking about them clicking on the link. It's going to be an interactive game, interactive post where I'm going to have my party guests click on the party link and I'm going to have them either add in the comments a list or a screenshot of what their wish list is. Now, whoever participates in that is those are the ones that I'm going to be my flags. I'm basically going to be on alert, right? Because those people are going to be the ones that I'm going to keep an eye on again for potential either future party hosts and or joining and giving them the opportunity. Yeah, so when you have, but that's the thing is like when you have somebody either in your VIP group, you can do that as well there, or you can do it even if you wanted to on your personal page. But when somebody has an interest in 5 or more items, that is where you're really going to get somebody's interest when it comes to specifically, especially having a party. But yeah, that just makes to me, this just makes like for a fun and interactive post. Consider starting a party with posting about joining first, then mentioning club. So I pretty much just repeated myself. Like that's where I feel like I'm going in is, this is the way I see it, y'all. Think about it. What weighs heavier with us? Asking somebody to join, asking somebody to place an order. To me, it feels lighter to me personally, could be different for you, to ask somebody to place an order or if they're interested in ordering. Because typically in the past, I would follow up with my customers and I'd say, hey, so-and-so, it's been a little bit since we talked. I just want to check in and see, what does your wax and pod stash look like? Let me know if I can get anything. I'm putting in a group order this week. That kind of thing. I don't really do that anymore per se, but that is normally where I would lead when I'm following up with somebody is I typically would follow up with them and lead with the sale. I don't want to do that anymore, y'all. I want to do the opposite. I'm going to lead with asking them to join, offering them the opportunity. And that's going to look different for everybody. But like I said, when it comes to specifically, because we're talking about parties still, so when it comes to doing parties, that is where I'm going at right out the gate, is talking about the join opportunity. So for example, I have my party this next week. I will be talking about the join opportunity and how there are bonus marketing items, things that they can get on top of everything else for the 99. I do plan on, more likely, I will probably, off the top of my head, have about 2 to 3 posts scheduled throughout that one day where it's going to talk about the various ways that they can join. Like the 99, that's going to be the first one right out the gate. The second one is basically going to be the Earn a Kit. And I guess really, now that I think about it, not really technically 3 posts per se, but 2. The second one will be like, hey, I guess the second post, sorry, I'm scrolling. The second post will be the interactive one, where it's referring to like, is your wish list bigger? Do you have 5 or more items in your wish list? So that's when that third post will come in later in the evening, where it will say, hey, was your wish list bigger than your budget? Did you know that you can, did you know that there's an earn a kit opportunity? Something along those lines. With following up, just keep in mind this is that it's not a no, never. It's a no, not now. Okay. Unless somebody right out the gate, right off the bat tells you, you know what? No, I never want to host, or I never want to be a consultant. That's different. That's different. You definitely want to make a note of those people. However, if someone says the fact that they say no, and that's it, they're like, no, it's not really a good time right now. Or no, haha, thank you for asking. If they're making light of it, if they're not saying no, I don't ever want to do this, if it's just a no or anything along those lines, you still want to make a note of it, that you had that discussion with that person, because it means that perhaps it's not the right time, but they might change their mind later down the road. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to follow up in that case is I like to personally do the 113. So you're following up with that person in 1 week. You get the response. If it's not oh yeah, I'd love to host, or oh yeah, I'd love to join. If they tell you no, not right now, make a note of it. Follow up with them again in 1 month. You definitely, no matter how that looks for you, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on a calendar, whether it's in a notebook like what I have here, make a note of it that you spoke to this person. Write their name down, write the date, and make jot down a couple of notes as far as what they said. And you want to either, like for me personally, I love setting alarms, and I'll put it on my calendar on my phone. I'll set an alarm. I have that set for so many things, but that perhaps could be something that you could do. Let's just say that you spoke this week to somebody and they said, oh, you know what? The summer's been really busy. I just don't have time right now to host. Then you can be like, okay, well, thanks for getting back with me. If you don't mind, I'd love to follow up with you closer to August, September, whatever you want to say. But set your alarm a month or 2 from now to follow up with that same person. Okay. Same thing for 3 months. So let's just say, so 1 month from now. So that'll be right now, that'll be like mid-August, right? So mid-August, end of August, you follow up with that same person and they tell you no again. They don't say no, never. They're just saying no, not right now. Then I do the same thing, but I set my alarm or I put it in my calendar to follow up with them 3 months from that point, if that makes sense. So 113, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months. It's the most simplest, in my opinion, follow-up system, and it keeps me super organized. Just remember, less is more. Again, start asking them to join, then host, subscribe to Scentsy, shop. That is the mentality that I'm going at for the remainder of this year and so on. Because before it was the opposite, honestly, y'all. It was that I was encouraging my customers to shop. Then if they were shopping frequently enough, I was telling them about Scentsy Club. Then once I had somebody that has a Scentsy Club, typically I would either talk about Scentsy Club or I would skip right over Scentsy Club and talk to them about hosting a party. So to me, it would either be club or hosting a party. And then depending upon which direction that went in, then I would go to join. Join was always the last thing with my customers that I would bring up. Now, don't get me wrong. I have had a lot of success that way, but I find that lately, that's just not cutting it for me. In my opinion, I have gotten to where over the last year or two with my customers that they are coming to me on a regular basis, depending on what that looks like for them. But I find that like what you consider like your regular customers, I don't have to go out of my way to say, hey, it's been a month or two since you've ordered. No, they're coming to me when they're ready. And it's because I am showing up in their stories. They're seeing me on my feed on their feed through personal posts. They're in my VIP group. They're possibly getting a message from me through Project Broadcast, whether it's my newsletter or a text. So in other words, I'm not communicating with them per se one-on-one personally, but on a larger scale. Um, so I'm just I'm constantly what is the word? I'm being consistent and showing up. So that's how, it's like, oh, I need to place an order. But thankfully lately, because I've taken those steps over the last year or two, I'm very blessed. Like I said, that they're coming to me and I don't necessarily have to go to them anymore. And honestly, those that were forgetting to place orders, and not just accidentally, not on purpose, but just accidentally, like they wanted Scentsy, but life was crazy and busy, so they'd forget. Those are the ones that I made sure to get into Scentsy Club, and that's how I made it make sense for them. As I was like, y'all are busy, y'all, and I made fun of myself too. I said, y'all know how I often forget to follow up with you, ha ha ha. I know you're busy in life. Scentsy Club basically cuts out that middleman, and it helps you and it helps me. I said, don't worry, I'm still getting however you want to word it, like commission off this, or I think I said I'm still benefiting from this. It's just one less thing for you and I to have to keep up with. So there's that. But that's where my mindset is going, y'all. For now, going into the fall winter season, is offering the join opportunity right out the gate. Don't be scared, y'all. Don't be scared, because one thing I hear over and over and over, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this, is that think about like when you're at a restaurant, right? Or you're going through the fast food line, and let's just say you're a restaurant and your server comes by and they're like, oh, hey, do you need a refill? Or would you like dessert? I don't know how you're feeling, but would y'all like to add on dessert? If you tell them no, do they throw a tantrum? Do they get pissed off at you? Do they like, oh, get out of my restaurant right now? Do they get upset with you? No, because they're just doing their job. Just the same way as you're just doing your job when it comes to asking somebody to either host or join. It's not like a interview process, like you're getting them to join your business per se. You're just letting them know, hey, this is what it takes. This is what you need to do, or what is offered to host, to join. Because if people are not already a Scentsy consultant, odds are they don't know that they can join for free or at a discount. They don't know that they can have a party or have a personal shopping link set up and not have to spend next to anything when it comes to what they're wanting and their their favorite Scentsy products. You know what I mean? They don't know until we educate them, right? Until we let them know in on all the incredible details, because that is our responsibility as a Scentsy consultant. That is your job. This is your responsibility, is to educate your customers and let them know in on these things, right? So that's about it, you guys. The last thing I will end on is this here, is that it's easier to glide down than it is to climb up. Just keep that in mind. But I thank y'all so much for catching the replay. I love you guys. I hope you'll have an incredible week ahead. Like I said, if you do want to chat and you need any help one-on-one, whether it's getting those party hosts, whether it's sponsoring, if you're wanting to either grow your team or start your team up, I'm here for you guys. I am your vessel. I won't necessarily do the work for you. I'm going to tell you that. I'm not a good hand holder. I'm not going to hold your hand, but I will definitely mentor you and I will guide you. And I want to see you succeed. I want you to be successful. Yes. Is it going to be work? Yes. Is it not going to be easy? Correct. It's not going to be easy. It's not always easy. Okay. But I tell you what, you will reap the benefits from what the seeds that you sow. I will tell you that. If you put the work in, if you're committed, I'm there for you guys. I will give you all the tools and all the lessons that I have learned along the way, and we'll do this together. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all have an incredible night. And until next week, bye, y'all.